Hello, I'm Andrew. I work for PK Thornton and I've been in the motor trade for 45 years and I like building carburetors, and here we have some carburetors that we are going to rebuild. So these are the 2-inch carburetors which we're going to fit onto a Mark II 3.8 to give it more power. They're going to have the head ported, and these will obviously help deliver more fuel. So this is the main body of the carburetor, and then we have, this is the float chamber or reservoir, and then the reservoir top, and then there's a reservoir float, and this is the mechanism to switch the petrol on and off. And then we have the slide. It's very important, as this goes up and down to operate the fuel on the tapered needle. Okay, so here's a carburetor that we're going to strip down, and we shall clean it, recondition it, fit it all back together and set the carburation up on the vehicle. So in here, this is your slide, and this is what they look like when they come off with the spring. That's your needle. Right, the carburetor isn't too dirty. If it was really dirty, we'd put it in a parts washer to get rid of some of the dirt, but this can go straight into our aqua blaster. So we finished cleaning the carburetor, and this is what they look like when they're clean. When we clean these, we don't aqua blast this surface at all, and we do not aqua blast this surface, and we do not aqua blast this surface. These are an engineering fit, and this must slide on here without any problem. And here is that's the float and the float chamber, and that is the reservoir top. So the first thing we do is we need to remove the spindle and the butterfly, because these need to be replaced. When you recondition these, this surface here, I've just cleaned this side up. You clean it with 1,000 to 2,000 wet and dry, and it must be cleaned very gently just to get the dirt off and not to actually take any material off, as this will affect this, and this seal in here from the butterfly must be sealed, or else it will never tick over. The idle speed will be up and down all the time, because it'll be drawing air in through here, and when this opens, that must shut. So the bearings in here, if the bearings are worn, this sometimes will not close properly. And as I said, if the air gets through here, this means then the mixture, air-fuel mixture ratio will be out as it's dragging it in through here. So what we're going to do next is to fit the new spindle. Possibly we're going to fit the 2 bearings, and this is the butterfly, and all this will be replaced. So here's the carburetor. We've been doing some work on it, and we've put a new spindle in it, a new butterfly. We've centralised the butterfly to make sure that the idle is correct, because if this is open, As you can see, it will never idle properly, so this must be airtight. We have peened over the screws to make sure that they don't go into the engine, so it's a safety issue. We've put in new bushes both sides to make sure, and there's a rubber seal that also goes behind there to make sure no air can get into both sides. We've put on the reservoir, the fuel reservoir. We've also put in the jet, which is there, and we've put it, there's a spring in the bottom of here, and so if you turn this screw here, this lifts this and moves the jet up and down to alter the mixture. So the next thing to do is to make sure that we have full throttle. So full throttle is where the butterfly is both sides equal to the top. So if it was over, you're going to get less air going through, so you're going to lose your full throttle. So when you're overtaking that car and you want a bit more, and it won't give you a bit more, this is the thing that's going to stop it. This is your throttle stop on full throttle only. And how it works is we have to drill a hole in here, through here, and then you put in a little cotter pin, and that will give you the full throttle. So then it will go like that to shut, like that to open. And this will rest on this part of the carburetor so that it gives you full throttle. That's it.
Yes.
Oh, no, the other thing we've done, no, there was one more thing. So the other thing we've also done is to centralise the jet. You must have it centralised, or else the slide won't slide properly in the slide. So really what you want is like a thud like that. This will make sure that if it's sticking and it holds it up a bit, you're not going to get idle. It's going to just rev all the time. So it must sit down. And you do this without the spring in it, so that it has every chance of seating properly. So that's centralising the jet so that it idles properly with a thud. You like it to go down with a thud. Okay, so we've finished the carburetor. So we've put new bushes in. I've put the return spring on the end here, and this is also an additional return spring that will attach to a frame that's down here. So we've put the reservoir top on. We've done the height for the float, so it shouldn't overflood. We've done you get that thud. We'll put it down here. If you can hear that thud that you should get, which means that it's returning on its own, which it's got to be. So this is end here is sealed, so it's not letting any light through, which is good for idle. There's a small filter that goes in here, so I've put that in. And then there's the air. This is your air control, which sets up, so you've got your mixture control, which is here, and then you've got your air bleed control, which is here, and that's set on a minimum, just as that's where I always set them. The jet is set inside. is what they call the bridge, which runs across there. So that's set level with the bridge, and then you can adjust it from there. So that will be weak. It starts off weak, and then you turn it down and it gets richer. These are the two carburetors. As you can see, there's a difference between the two, and this is the choke mechanism. The choke mechanism is worked by fuel coming in through here, ending up in here, which it would do on this one. But in here, there's a small drilling hole that the fuel runs through here, into here, and then it'll vaporize with air that runs through there. So you'll get a vaporized mixture of fuel and air coming through here, which ends up at these two pipes here. So then the vaporized fuel will run into here and give it a richer mixture on cold startup, so that it runs. This is all operated from cold start. This is operated from a solenoid, which is here. So it's literally will just lift. There's a flap in there, and it'll just lift it, so the air fuel can mix, and then it'll on a spring, it'll drop back down when this is switched off. That is operated by this sensor. So when this sensor gets warm, it will switch the wires to here, telling it it's warm enough, and it will disconnect the choke, and then it will run normally on the two carburetors. So this is number one carburetor. So the front of the engine is here, and obviously the rear is here of the engine, and these bolt onto here like this. So this one will be cleaned up and mounted to here, as I said, and we can do that if you like in a few weeks. We can mount it on. If you're interested, let us know, and we can strip this carburetor down. I can show you the internals and how this works in here, the choke mechanism. We can bolt it to here. There's a plate that goes on here and bolts through, and there's the accelerator linkage. We can do all that. So if you're interested, let us know. So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and if you can subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.